Hello and welcome to episode 21 of Kitze, the podcast which desperately needs a better name. In this podcast, I'm talking about my personal self-development journey and trying to make it in life, whatever that means. We're going to talk about habits, routines, pomodoros, work-life balance, working out, healthy food, life hacks, being a dad, self-help books, running startups, creating apps, and I just realized that this description is way too fucking long because your boy's going to go on tangents on tangents on tangents. I'm probably not going to talk about half of these things, but if this is your cup of tea, walk with me. Don't forget to put on your headphones, put on your shoes, and go for a walk no matter how shitty the weather is. Speaking of shitty weather, Poland, shit, like it's, you know that song, It's Raining Man. It's like the worst weather condition. I've mentioned this before. It's when it's not rain, but it's just that annoying thing that, just pokes you in the face, which it's not even, if it was rain, you would look through the window and be like, you know what, I'm not going out today. But you look through the window, you're like, oh, it's not that bad. And then you go outside and it's windy, it's like in your face. It's so fucking horrible. Whatever, but I still walk today. I made 11, almost 12,000 steps today. So yeah, go for a walk. Don't have the rain as your excuse. Topic of the day is going to be my downward spiral. So as you know, I have the fucking whiteboard as proof. Like January has been amazing. And I didn't realize how amazing was January until February started for me. So just a couple of days in February, I realized like, holy shit, I was way too productive in January. Why was I so hard on myself? Because this shit is hard. So that's going to be the topic of the day. Don't forget to send me video or comment questions. I just realized that I'm an idiot. People have been sending me comment questions, but me, the donut that I am, I was just answering them in the comments instead of answering them in the video because I'm a donut. Conferences I'm going to is in September. I'm going to InfoBeep Shoot, but I cannot mention this until September. So I guess I'll skip that one. And hopefully it's going to be some conferences soon. I have a topic that I wanted to write here. Living in Poland. I got that question. I mentioned it 3 podcasts ago, and I forgot to actually answer the question. So if there's time today, we're going to talk about why I moved to Poland. Let's do a quick Benji review as I promised you. I am going to show you everything that's been going on in the last couple of days because I didn't want, I don't want this to seem that I'm only showing you Benji and stuff when things are going great. I promise you I'm going to show you everything from the trip from a few days ago. So let's start with just today, sleep time and sleep score. I went to sleep at 1 a.m. We're going to discuss why later. Hydration, this puppy is here with me, so I've been doing good. I'm using the hydration widget here to track that. Fasting. I almost skipped my fast today because I started convincing myself that streaks are not that important and yada yada yada. So what if I skip one fast? Because I skipped 2 times to fill my activity rings on Apple Watch. It hasn't happened in January. And I skipped doing 10,000 steps today or 2 days in a row on the weekend. And now I wanted to skip the fasting, but that's how it starts. You're like, it's 1 day. It's 2 days. Whatever. So I completed the fast. We're going to talk about the other things later. Weight, I forgot to measure my weight, honestly, this morning because I'm still not in my, like after I break a routine, after like we go on a trip or whatever, and I come back, like it's immediately chaotic for me. It's not like I'm back to doing everything normally. So I forgot to measure myself and I'm not looking forward to measuring myself tomorrow. Workout, skip my workout today. Skip the workout on Friday because I was traveling. So far, bad. Walking, as I said, almost 12,000 steps. Meals, we're going to discuss those in a second. Pomodoros, I am ashamed of my work ethic right now. So duration 1 hour 25 minutes. I started working late. I fixed the CZ pricing. If nothing else, Zico hopped on a call with me and he helped me and we figured out what is the issue with CZ pricing. So finally, people like, I've been getting so many DMs. Hey man, I want to buy CZ. Hey man, I want to buy CZ, and I've been ignoring them like an idiot. So at least I did that, but I'm really, really ashamed of my work ethic, and I've been 100% sitting and 100% distracted during this Pomodoro. So it's not like I wasn't in my focused mode. So now, without further ado, let's look at the food and let me show you how a downward spiral starts for me. It starts so innocent. It starts so, like on Thursday is the day of traveling, so I'm going to go here. So we start in the morning. Actually, I forgot to log this in the morning because in the morning I was having that oatmeal, honey, oat milk. What else did I had in it? Like berries, etc. So this is like healthy, I can call it. But it wasn't aligned with my goals because I used honey. So I can, I started tracking this because as I mentioned in a previous episode, having too many questions when you're starting food tracking is overwhelming. So what I did is I disabled everything from here. Like, don't ask me to track macros and portion size and meal type and whatever. So until now, I wasn't even asking for food healthiness. But now I realize there's so many meals where the meal is, for example, healthy, but it's not with the path that I'm on. Like mixed nuts, for example. They're super healthy, but I said I'm not going to eat nuts until I reach 85 kilos. So they're not on my path, my particular path. And everyone has their own path. Someone's trying to gain weight, to lose weight, whatever. So that's why I started answering this question. So when I log in a meal, it asks me how healthy was this meal and was it aligned with your goals. So for example, this chicken schnitzel, potato salad, and half glass of beer was unhealthy and it was not aligned with my goals. Now this is very hard to answer for me. Like chicken schnitzel and potato salad is not as unhealthy as like pizza, let's say. But if I had too many layers and levels and sliders, like it's going to be way too confusing how to answer this question. But it's also sad if one day I make a chart of how I ate this year and I say I ate unhealthy, and then you dive into the stats and the unhealthy thing is a schnitzel and potato salad. It's, it's not as equal as someone said who would be like, I ate unhealthy the entire year. I was eating a bunch of pizzas. Anyway, so yeah, on Thursday we started with oatmeal in the morning, which I didn't log, whatever. I'll log it after this, not to bug you. So we started good. As I mentioned, we stopped at Subway because that was the gas station, but we didn't eat Subway. We ate this salad with rucola, spinach, cherry tomatoes, and chicken. And then I started with I'm on the road, so I might as well snack on something. I snacked on these mixed nuts, which were healthy, but they were not on my path. And then on the next gas stop, we got just something to drink. So I was like, okay, I'll get this protein shake from the supermarket, even though I know that it has milk, which was not on my. I said I'm not going to have cow milk. And I know that it probably has some sugar. I pretended not to look at that because it tastes like fucking chocolate milk, even though it has 26 grams of protein. Kind of lying to myself. So then is the final part where we arrive late. We're tired from the trip and whatever. We see this restaurant. We go to the first restaurant. Everyone in their it was Czech restaurant. So everyone and their mother was eating the schnitzel. So I was like, fuck it. I don't eat, what is like the default one? Pork schnitzel. So I'll take this chicken schnitzel, potato salad. And I was like, well, while we're at it, let's just pair it with beer. Then the waitress is like, I'm going to also bring you bread and butter. So I was like, you know what? Like I have this habit from when we went a lot to restaurants with my wife. So usually we would get starters. So we couldn't eat the meal without getting at least 1 to 2 starters. So I was like, do you like to get a platter of cheese? And she's like, yes, I would like that. So we got, and like slowly I abandon everything just because I'm on a trip. And you'll be like, okay, kids, don't be so hard on yourself. It's just one day, right? So it's one day, we had this bread and butter and mixed cheeses and schnitzel and potato salad and half a glass of beer. And then we move on. It's Friday. Now at the conference, I make a little bit longer fast. And they bring a bunch of food. And I eat hummus and bell peppers and carrots and spinach pastries and dumpling thingies with tuna. But the problem here is even though I'm not tracking that, I ate a lot. So it's not like this was super unhealthy. So I would say it's kind of healthy, but I ate a lot. And then I came back. I was kind of exhausted from the conference. And I started snacking on mixed nuts. But you shouldn't eat that many nuts. Like it should be just a handful of nuts per day. But I just took 2 bags, just mixed them one into the other. And I sat on Twitter. And my wife, when she asked me, like, do you want to talk? And I'm like, I'm exhausted after the conference. Just leave me. And I usually heal in a way. Like the combo of wasting time on Twitter, Reddit, YouTube with food, for me is some kind of escape, which reminds me of a quote that I need to read to you. So I'm going to pause. I'm going to go find that. It's a little bit longer article. It's not an article, but it's like longer text that I want to read to you. So just a second. All right, I found half of the quote because someone replied to me on Twitter. It's from Brianna Weist, the author that I mentioned that wrote The Mountain Is You. And maybe this is from the book. As I mentioned, the book is freaking amazing. I need to read it again and reread it and re-listen it because I love this woman's philosophy so much. So listen to this quote. It's like part of the entire text because the text was too long. Self-care is often a very unbeautiful thing. It makes, again, because I was switching my screen. Self-care is often a very unbeautiful thing. It is making a spreadsheet of your debt, enforcing a morning routine, cooking yourself healthy meals, and no longer just running from your problems and calling the distraction a solution. It is sweating through a workout or confronting a toxic friend, getting a second job to save money, or figuring out a way to accept yourself so that you're not constantly exhausted from trying to be everything all of the time. True self-care is not salt baths and chocolate cake. It is making the choice to build a life you don't need to escape from. And that sometimes means doing the ugliest thing that you have to do. Fire! Let me just get this freaking fire I'll butcher that word, extinguisher, which I definitely have 3 of these at home, and I don't know how to use them. But in case I read this quote again out loud, I'm gonna need to use this shit because it's fire, dude. And it hurts how true this is. Like, I have to reread this over and over again. It's not about the fucking snacks and the nuts and the chocolate and scrolling Twitter. Just escape. What are you escaping from? Just like you were drained at the conference from whatever. It's not like don't immediately jump to the freaking, escape. Like, this is so freaking truth. I think there's like another part of it, but it's more or less saying the same thing. Like, sometimes you need to do, like, self-care means ugly choices, hard things, not just, oh my God, I just want to relax. You do nothing all day. Like, I do 3 Pomodoros and I'm like, oh my God, now I deserve to just chill. It's so fucking annoying. Anyway, this is amazing. Read the book Mountain Eater. It's definitely transformative. So yeah, as I said, came back to the hotel room and had some mixed nuts. And I felt, I hate the feeling where it's like already lunchtime, but I'm so full with bullshit that I don't feel like eating lunch. It's the worst. So we were walking my daughter in Warsaw, and we went to the mall, and I wasn't feeling hungry at all. I just felt like my mouth was dry because I'm not keeping this bad boy around me, right? So I don't drink water. And just seeing all of these people eating fast food, basically at the mall we were in, is like 90% fast food and 10% healthy food. I craved Pepsi or Coke or something, just some cold drink, dude, with ice. Bye. So I didn't write this here, but I need to write it in this meal. That, like, the first thing that I wanted was just Coke or Pepsi. So I got that at Subway, and I'm like, well, we're at Subway. Let's just fucking have a Subway, which I didn't like. I wasn't hungry. Like, I was already feeling bad in my stomach, and I made it feel worse. Okay, so you're like, okay, we started innocent, right? Thursday, then Friday, okay. You think like, oh, it's only 2 days you're traveling. Then we go on Saturday, I go to the hotel breakfast and I start eating, I grab eggs and tomatoes and a bunch of healthy things. And I'm like, well, while we're at it, we're traveling, right? I got some pierogi and I got some bread and butter. So if you only eat that for breakfast, you would be fine. You'll be like, okay, whatever. For the rest of the day, I'll eat healthy. Then we stop at the freaking thing, at the gas station, and I get a milk protein shake again. And now it's not enough for me just to drink that because I need to eat it with something. So I'm like, this is not enough. And I see this like vegan, healthy ball, choco, whatever. Like they were, in the healthy freaking section. So I take those. And it's already, afternoon, and I don't feel hungry for lunch again. So I'm repeating the thing from the previous day. I don't feel hungry for lunch again. And then, as I mentioned yesterday, not to drone on, like we stopped at KFC at the end of the day. And even at KFC, you can just eat mindfully there. Or you can eat like a freaking, like I had one thing of mac and cheese and my wife is like, oh, this tastes like plastic. Do you want mine? And I'm like, I love fucking plastic, dude. And then when we finished everything, which was a lot, I just went and got another mac and cheese. So I'm just telling you, it all starts with, you know what? I can drink, have a beer. You know what? For me, I'm not saying that everyone is like this. I know this is not a good personality trait. I know that I need to find fucking solutions for this, but I'm just telling you as it is because this is very connected. If you think like, why is he going through all of his meals and shit? I just want to tell you how connected is this with my energy throughout the day, because eating bad food just leads to, sugar crashes, just feeling bad about your day. And thankfully, I'm still on that promise to my daughter that I'm not going to eat sweets, because if I top this off, like everything that I eat, people are like, oh, well, you should be able to eat a sweet and a salt. Like I would eat both in an unhealthy amount. So that's the problem. So thankfully, I didn't top off the KFC with sweets. So then we come home yesterday, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do a very long fast. And I think I did 20 hours of fasting. So I basically skipped to lunch. And lunch was at 3 p.m. My wife made, my parents were over, and she made sweet potatoes for me, because that's what I announced to people. Hey, I don't eat white potatoes. I don't eat white rice. And she was making like white potatoes, planning to make mashed potatoes for everyone else. And now my brain is already used to 3 days of this kind of food. I'm like, sweet potatoes, bye-bye, right? Sweet potatoes are the other potatoes. I don't know why these ones are called sweet, because it tastes like fucking pumpkin. So just looking at the white potatoes boiling, I'm like, you know what? I would also like some of these. And my dad is like, oh, well, I would like to try sweet potatoes. And he actually had the sweet potatoes. God knows why. Maybe he I don't know. Thankfully, he got it. And I immediately felt what is the difference when you're eating normal versus sweet potatoes. Like after normal sweet potato, normal sweet, normal potatoes sweet. Have you tried that? They're imported from Brazil. When you eat normal potatoes, like immediately after that meal, your stomach feels so full and you get a crash. And I think there's some scientific explanation about the contents of like what sweet potatoes have. And with them, you feel fine. And now at the conference, they got us a gift with some vegan fucking bullshit, like a vegan almond butter and some vegan, like, they're cookies, but they're made with oatmeal and like whatever. I read the contents, made sure there's no sugar in them. So after this meal, which is already makes me too full, I see my mom taking some of those cookies, my dad taking some of the cookies, and I read the contents. I'm like, I can take some. And whatever. Let's say this was supposed to be my only meal for the day, and just to be done with it. And then later throughout the night, I don't know what was happening exactly yesterday. I have no idea why I started rummaging through drawers in the kitchen, and I got to this almond butter thingy, and I already was planning that after lunch my fast would start. I didn't start it, and I found this, and I'm like, oh, let me just try it. Now I see it says almond butter with vanilla. I taste one spoon. I'm like, there's no fucking way this doesn't have additional sweeteners. But let's pretend it's just healthy almond butter, which you said you're not gonna eat peanut butter, almond butter, all of that shit, right? We started eating that, and it was freaking delicious. Not gonna lie to you, it's fucking one of the best nut butters that I've tried in my life. So we eat that, and we were with my wife. But this usually we had this very, very, very bad habit of like taking a banana. This has replaced so many of our meals in life. It's kind of sad. Like instead of just eating breakfast, we would grab 1 to 2 bananas, and then you take a scoop of peanut butter, you put it on the banana, and you bite. You take a scoop, like that's such an unhealthy amount of peanut butter on the thing. So we left half of the jar, and we're like, let's go buy bananas. So we went out to walk with my daughter. We bought bananas. We came back home, and we ate that. And then I went out again, like immediately, dude. Like I go from a month of eating healthy food, it takes me 3 days to be back. So that's what I was telling you. I'm glad that I have this because, you know, it would be fucking silly of me. I did this failure. And from tomorrow, if I just go ahead and share my screen and tell you about productivity and like healthy life and shit, like I should just cancel this fucking podcast. So I'm glad that I'm doing this live just so you can see, because I've been on this road like way too many fucking times where everything goes good, suddenly it crashes, and it takes so long. Like if I continue this for just this week until like Sunday, and this is not even that bad. It's not like a lot of fast food or burgers or pizzas or crazy shit. Just a little bit of these mistakes, and until Sunday, I'll make up for all the weight that I basically had like a month ago. And then, you know, I'll get disappointed, and I'll be like, oh, you know what, fuck it, I'll just eat. And then I get to a breaking point, I'm like, fuck, I need to change something, just like I did with the podcast. Like basically, starting the podcast was after a week of self-sabotage and feeling bad in productivity, eating whatever. I'm like, oh, fuck, I need something. I need accountability. I need to start something where people are with me on this fucking journey. So now you're basically seeing the spiral live happening. So I walk outside, and it's just like feeling I go back to the same supermarket where I was usually walking my dog, and I would buy some unhealthy things. Like previously it was sweets. Now when I couldn't eat sweets, I would buy like random pastries or bread or whatever. So yesterday night, I'm like announcing this. I'm like, hey, and I'm telling my wife, hey, I'm thinking like the old patterns are back. Like I want to go and eat that. And she's like, don't do it and whatever. But in my brain, I know like there's nothing that can stop me, and I'm going to go. Thankfully, I was late, and I went like 1 minute before the store closed, and the store was actually closed. And now I'm like on the hunt for unhealthy food, and I'm like, well, I have to find a way. So I found this store. There's like one open store on the street at 10 p.m. It's an alcohol store, which also has like 5 rows of chips. So I go and take Pringles. And in my head, I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? How are you going to be on a podcast tomorrow and talk about all of this shit? But I'll talk if there is time. I'll talk like sometimes I feel like there's 2 people in me. And you know the fucking thing. Within you, there are 2 wolves, like that meme. But I really feel that sometimes. Like there's no fucking way for someone to convince me that moment. I'm thinking about the podcast. What am I going to say? I'm thinking about logging the food actually on Benji. My profile is public. I don't care. I'm thinking about my wife, what my wife would think of me just seeing me, that I can't control over my food. I'm thinking of when my daughter grows up. I cannot eat like this in front of her. Am I going to go and hide places just to eat bad food? Like I want to set a good example. I want to live longer for her. But all of these ideas just come and go, and I'm like, take these fucking chips, go at home, and just eat the fucking chips. So I go at home, and I remember, oh shit, we also have pumpernickel bread, which is like this. I don't even call this bread because it's, you know, not that fluffy white bread that you're used to. It's like a tiny freaking thing. It falls apart. You cannot make a sandwich. You cannot make anything with it. And I'm really sorry if someone was planning to be on a fucking diet and they tune into this podcast and they're like, oh yeah, let's crush it. And then you're like 14 minutes in, you're like, oh fuck, well now I'll eat Pizza Hut. I'm really sorry if this had that effect on you. But this is important to me to talk about it. And if you don't want to listen to me talking more about food, I think it's going to end soon because, you know, it's like few more meals and we'll be done. It's not like all of these things sound appealing. Like, just read this, my man. Pringles can, cheese, pumpernickel bread and butter, and cherry tomatoes. Like, it's disgusting. And I was eating this probably until 10 p.m. or something. I had YouTube open. Like, what happened before the conference, actually, to explain, is I deleted the blocker from my computer. So before the conference, just to be able to give the talk, I removed the blocker from my computer. And now, from the guy who's spending less than an hour on Twitter per day, divided in like 5-minute sections, now I'm spending the entire fucking day and I cannot focus on anything else. And this is very, very connected. Don't think that the eating and the productivity and Twitter and YouTube is not disconnected. So tweets that went viral with like, one of them had 5 million views. The other one, I don't know how many million views, with like 40,000 likes, 50,000 likes, both of them. Like I have this money extension that shows me like one tweet made like $150 or $200 from the impressions, whatever. I don't know how correct is that, but approximately it is. And I said I'm going to donate that to charity starting, there's already a payment that arrived, and MG is already on the hunt for finding, local charities and stuff where I can donate. Anyway, like when I'm more on Twitter, I like it because I think, holy shit, if I was on this all day, like my meme game is just unparalleled. Like I can post better. But when I browse Twitter every 5 minutes or an hour, it's like, what do I do first? I go in my replies, I check my notifications, I reply to some people, I go to my messages, reply to some people, some of them leave them on scene. I have 1 minute to scroll the timeline, but I don't feel the pulse of Twitter. Like I don't know what's hot and what's not. The problem is if I am on Twitter all the time, yes, it brings followers, yes, it brings money, yes, it brings this and that, but it brings me so much unhappiness in other places that I think I'm going back to this compulsive behavior that just eat and be on Twitter and social media and not sleep. Like I'm the guy who went to sleep at like 10:30. But I can so easily go back to this other version of me. It's fucking sad. So yeah, even like when we came back from the store, I also got a can of peanut butter, which I didn't want to have in a drawer or in my life. Even like in January, my wife was eating that. I was just ignoring it. So I don't know how the fuck did it happen that from ignoring it, I went to, holy shit, yesterday was terrible. So I'm like, all right, whatever happened yesterday happened. Today, it's a new day. I'm going to eat healthy. I'm going to complete my fast. But there was this like in me in the morning, like I see my planner, I have a call with MJ, I see the calendar, record 0 to ship, do 1 hour stream, this and that. I just cannot bring myself to just start the day, to be productive, to work out, bye. I just went past the gym and I laughed this morning. I'm like, cute. Like when I'm in the zone, like I was, one day workout, one day walk, one day workout, walk, sauna, cold shower, I'm in the zone. Take me out on a trip, 3 days, all it takes. Oh, I touch KFC, bye-bye. Everything goes to fucking shit. So this morning, I'm like, oh, no workout, no whatever. I don't know what's going to happen with this day, but Twitter is still unblocked. YouTube is still unblocked. I have access to all of these things. I have this worst habit of watching YouTube. Like I don't even watch YouTube. That's the problem. Maybe I mentioned this. Like I'll just command click a bunch of videos. They all open in different tabs. And I go to a video. I watch it on 2 to 3x speed. And even I'm skipping through parts. Like I just want to basically see screenshots of this video. Like someone is reviewing a Tesla Model 3 or reviewing the Apple Vision Pro or whatever. I don't have time to, get all of that. But I think if I just watch it fast and I just skip, I'll just get a gist of what they're talking about and I can move on to the next one. Then in the middle of the video, I go back to Twitter. Then Twitter gets boring. I go to another video. And it's like this cycle that it doesn't end. Like the algorithm just shows you new things. And we're talking about someone who is obsessed with blockers, self-control, all of this shit. Like I feel like I have a lot of practice and I can easily lose this battle. And what's left for the people who are not even trying at all? Like this thing will just trap you and you have no control over your life. You cannot achieve shit. You cannot fulfill your goals. You cannot, like probably YouTube just reading the transcript of this video is going to bury it somewhere so the algorithm doesn't show it, because it really feels like everyone is just moonwalking through life, sleepwalking through life, not moonwalking. Not everyone is Michael Jackson. Because the algorithm says it's like they're too tough of a battle. Like the final boss is too fucking hard. I swear to God, my life goal is with Benji to try to battle this. But as I mentioned, the last missing part is the blocker. Even if it's a physical device that you plug into a router and it sits between your router and the rest of your network. So you basically are 100% sure that you're not going to turn off your blocker and there's no way to turn off. I mean, at the end of the day, you can rip off your cords, but I don't think many people will go that length. So yeah, anyway, I wake up in the morning, not planning to work, not planning to work out. So I'm just planning to self-sabotage that day. And my dog wasn't walked in. I'm like, you know what? There's that egg sandwich that I was buying from this bakery. I can walk my dog there. And I'm like, it's Monday. If you start on Monday, like then it's going to be next Monday and then it never fucking ends. So in the morning, my wife is like, hey, do you want a classic breakfast? And we do this: eggs, cherry tomatoes, salmon, red bell pepper, cottage cheese, classic breakfast. But I'm craving more. Like I finished this breakfast. Do you know why I'm craving more? Because there's nothing in my work that draws me right now. I'm just back. I'm basically late with my course. So there's nothing to pull me away from food. Dude, when I'm in the zone of making a project or whatever, I don't even care about. Like there's been streams where I forgot to eat almost the entire day because I'm so obsessed and I love what I do. But when I'm upstairs and in the kitchen, like there's nothing that pulls me down. What? A meeting? Oh, you need MJ. Hey, Kitze, you need to reply to these emails? Hey, take this straw, poke it in my eye. Oh, I'm late on taxes. Arrest me. Hey guys, finally, I'm late. Like, it's supposed to be paid on 20th. Last month is 5th of February. Arrest me. Maybe in prison. I'll be food deprived. I'll find ways to make cheat meals in prison, dude. Next thing you know, these motherfucking prison people are like, oh, dude, have you tried that oatmeal with cocoa powder and protein? They're importing protein from somewhere. We start an entire chain. We start our brand. Eventually, all of us get redemption. Well, like, we get a second chance in life. We open stands. We turn into a McDonald's franchise eventually with the healthiest motherfucking oatmeal the world has seen. Because I'll find a way, even in prison, to make utensils and things and make cheat meals. Even if they're like, here's your bottle of water, I'll be like, well, this is with cake soon. Fucking guy. So yeah, this morning I'm thinking of self-sabotage. The breakfast is not enough. And I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. Fuck my no nuts rule. I'll just have nuts as a snack instead of making that oatmeal and shit. So I take almonds, walnuts, cashews, and pistachios. And they're all super healthy if you take one handful of them. But I take an unhealthy dose. And already my stomach feels, after you eat those nuts, like they're so fat heavy that you cannot crave lunch. Like, there's nothing. You probably need a 2-hour workout for your stomach to be completely, like, your energy to be drained, for stomach to be completely empty, to finally be like, you know what? I'm craving lunch. So I have that. And I'm like, oh, fuck, lunch is not happening soon. So I start a couple of Pomodoros, like 3 Pomodoros. I work with Zico. We fix the thing. 4 p.m. comes and my wife is like, lunch is ready. I'm starving. And I'm like, I can't. Like, I don't want to basically throw your lunch away because I don't feel hungry. Do you want to walk? So we went for like an hour and a half walk, I think, with my daughter. Hour and like 15 minutes, 20 minutes, something like that. When I came back, I was kind of hungry-ish, but I honestly wasn't hungry. So I ate my lunch, totally not mindfully. My wife had something to do. I was taking care of my daughter. And instead of just eating lunch and looking at her and what she's doing, I was eating lunch again with the laptop. So even though this morning I implemented a bunch of blockers, I blocked things on the router level and I blocked things on the computer level, still I made it from like 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. that YouTube, Reddit, everything is unblocked. And now when I say this, I realize it's a bad idea because I can literally waste 5 to 8 p.m. on just YouTube and nothing else. So I have so many, like, I'm struggling to come up with a strategy. This is what's sabotaging me, that I cannot come up with a strategy. I know that most people just do spontaneously, and I watch YouTube on the subway. I can't. I need to have, I will figure out the structure one day. How much time am I spending on which website, on which days, on which devices? So I was all in Coda tables today, basically figuring out which websites are the most distracting to me on which devices. I have way too many fucking devices. Like, once I got everything blocked, and the Steam Deck, which has like Linux mode, I switched to Linux, I opened Firefox, and I browsed Twitter from the Steam Deck, which is made from gaming. For gaming. Like, one day you'll find me on the microwave, just checking YouTube. On the button for adding 30 seconds, like I'll just skip 30 seconds ahead and watching MKBHD cooking or whatever inside. Oh, God. It's a terrible situation. I didn't even get to talk about the blockers and shit. So maybe let's talk about, maybe this episode's title can be like this food sabotage, and tomorrow's episodes can be all about blockers and shit, because it's like 9:48. We were supposed to spend time with my wife. I fucked the entire day up. Hopefully this is just one day, and I leave everything behind, and from tomorrow everything goes back to normal, because I just can't do this every fucking day, man. Like, it's been way too long. It's been way too many cycles of this. I cannot see an easy way out, and I'm honestly fucking tired of the cycles. Like this book, Mountain Issue, I'm probably going to wake up and read it every fucking day, because it clearly described why do we self-sabotage in life. Like, there's so many bullet points there, like, why am I doing certain things? It's clear as day to me, but still, it's very hard to exit this fucking thing. So as soon as you think, the day's done, brown rice with chicken, pickles, then I don't feel that bad. We went on a long walk, and even had energy. I was like, you know what? After my wife finishes her thing, like, I'll definitely, just go downstairs and work out for an hour. Instead of that, I don't know, maybe, reading Twitter, watching YouTube, your thoughts spiral. You start doing comparisons about where you are in life, where other people are, what are you doing, blah, blah, blah. I start getting too many thoughts. And instead of just resolving all of those thoughts, I'm like, you know what? You know what's on this table? 3 bananas. You know what we have in the counter? Peanut butter. So I eat 3 bananas, one after the other, with shit ton of peanut butter. Now my stomach feels horrible. And for the first time, I'm not going to lie to you, I thought of bailing on the podcast. So this is how I usually do things. I start something, I silently, like, do things for a while, then I'll just bail on it and move on to the other things. It's a miracle, actually, that I have successful products, because I have no idea how and when this version of me activates. It just works like a beast. I guess when I worked on Benji, I just had to ignore everything fucking else. I had leg pain. I didn't have time to fix it. I'm like, fuck the leg pain. I'm just working on this right now. Stacey was on fire. Praneet was working by himself. And I was like, sorry, even at the risk of losing my employees, I just cannot help you right now. I need to work on this. And only in those moments where I'm like hyper focused on one thing, I can be like the best version of myself. even though they've been nice. Like I've been working for like on Benji for 12 to 13 hours. Let's not, probably I wasn't working 12 to 13 hours, but yeah, there've been days when I would go to the office in the morning, leave late at night. And then just by being exhausted, like you've worked on all day on features and just stuff, but for what? Like you don't have paying customers, you don't have a strategy, there's bugs, there's this and that. Like all of these thoughts going to start creeping in. And instead of just resolving them, I just, from the office, I would, while I was going to the train station, I would stop at the supermarket, grab a bunch of sweets, feel shitty about myself, probably wake up in the middle of the night. A lot of the times don't even go back to sleep. Wake up the next day groggy and just tired and be like, oh, you know what, fuck this day, we'll start from tomorrow. And there's been so many freaking cycles of this, man. I'm tired. I'm really tired. Anyway, so yeah, I just last moment shat on the day with the bananas and the peanut butter, and then my stomach feels so heavy and so tired that I went down to the gym and I just exhaled. You know, I just saw all the equipment, and I'm like, what's the exercise that you love the most that you want to do? And I couldn't even, I couldn't convince myself, like, watch a show or do your favorite exercise. I just did like, fuck it, man, fuck it. And I just took a shower, and now I'm recording this podcast, basically. That's it. Yeah, let me just pause and look through my list. Like, is there anything else food related that I wanted to talk about? Yeah, we can actually look at the habits, because this entire episode has been like sharing Benji things that I didn't share the last couple of days. But this is super crucial to understand my state of mind and to understand why things are the way they are. Because I promised you I'm going to also share my failures with you and not only my wins. So it's nice when all of this is golden, right? But a lot of times it's like this. So this was on the day on travel. This was on Thursday. Like, this is how the habits look like. I'm not going to go talking you through it. If you care, you can just go to my Benji profile and you can look at them. But a lot of red, like Friday is the day of the conference. Now, can I wake up at a hotel and stretch and do breathing and plank and have vitamin D with me and moisturize? I can do any of these things, but my brain is like, it's travel, just fuck everything. And then when I check these habits, I'm like, you should have done some other things. I also fucked up here on the coffee, soda, juice, bread, fast food, everything on Friday. Also, Saturday, horrible habit-wise. Everything is red. Everything is horrible. I even bailed on my steps and activity rings. Same on Sunday. Not a lot of things. Super red. And today, I think the morning has been bad, but the anytime has been good, because today I didn't have coffee, alcohol, bread, soda, juice, fast food. I did my steps, so it's better. Maybe there's one thing that I can mention here regarding habit streaks, and we can wrap up with that, and I'll just leave myself. I'll leave everything else for tomorrow's podcast. Is maybe you've noticed that Benji doesn't have habit streaks. And a lot of times I've just started the code for adding them, but there's something that's preventing me from adding streaks. I had a Duolingo streak that was probably 150 days or 300 days. I don't even remember at this point. And I had an Apple activity ring streak, which was almost the entire year. One night, I put my Apple Watch to charge without looking that the red ring is not completely covered. Like, it can easily fool you that it's full. And then I wake up the next day to 697 calories instead of 700. So I just abandoned my activity rings after that period for a real long time, because I thought, I lost the 300 streak. It's such a long journey to get to 300 activity rings like in a row that I'm like, this will take another 300 days. Fuck it. I'm not even doing my activity rings. Same with Duolingo. I spent so much time learning that when I fucked up one day and I lost my streak, I know there's habit streak freeze or whatever on Duolingo. I also used those, and basically I lost my streak. And I just had zero motivation to start again, because it seems like a big mountain to climb. And I'm like, I don't want to go. I don't want to go on this journey again. So what I want to implement in Benji, and let me know if you have any ideas about this. I want to implement something that basically, for individual habits and also for all of your habits, just give you like a percentage chart, like a summary, like, hey, you're doing good. So basically what I would see for January, I don't care that I stretch 37 times in a row, because that puts the pressure that you always need to stretch. And if you lose the streak, basically you're fucked. Like, all I want to see is that for 87% of January, I've been stretching, and basically see a chart like, hey, this is how it looks like for January. Like you were doing this, and then you had a couple of days of travel, so the line goes down, and then you're up again, so you're good. So basically, to find a way to phrase it to the user, like, hey, you're doing better. Like, and also be honest with them when they're not doing good, to tell them they're not doing good, but also to give them the feeling that if they start doing their habits for just a couple of days, like a couple of days of cold showers or a couple of days of eating clean or measuring weight, whatever, to give them the feeling of, hey, you're doing great, you're on the right track. It doesn't matter that you're day 5, you're on the right track. So I have to figure out a way to design this and to figure out the UX, but I really also need it for myself, because a lot of times I feel like abandoning all of the habits, abandoning everything, and be like, fuck it, because I lost my streak. I almost lost my fasting streak today, and that for me was dangerous. Like, for the same fasting streak, water break, was the reason when Zico said, let's eat eat in KFC, I just thought, oh, but I have so many days of fasting. And I just didn't do it because I didn't want to, abandon my streak. So if I had this percentage UI or whatever, would I actually ate that night? I'm honestly not sure. Like, there's a lot of psychology behind eating and habits and shit that I've read so many books. If I clear my entire plate in life and I only work on Benji, I would definitely dive more into the psychology behind habits and eating and all of this shit and just try to figure out a better way than streaks, because I think, not streaks, the app. Just I think streaks are all bad. Yesterday I was trying to prove that point, so I Googled streaks bad, whatever, psychology, and like I found around 10 to 15 articles talking about how streaks are a bad idea. I haven't read them, so I need to read them before I tell you, my conclusions about that. So yeah, what I wanted to say is, in the beginning, is today I realized, today is like Monday, how productive I was on other days when I was like, oh guys, I only have 4.5 hours of work, around 5 hours of work, and I also completed a fast and a cold shower and a sauna and a workout and whatever, and I would still feel bad about the end of the day because I wasn't realizing that those things are hard as fuck. To combine all of them in one day, especially with a baby and a house and all these obligations and shit, was hard as fuck, and I only needed to fail so much today to just realize, holy shit, what you were actually doing great. So now I'll have to build UI that tells me that I'm doing great instead of this stupid fucking brain telling me that, hey, you're doing enough. You donut. Fucking idiot. So yeah, your boy's down today. Sorry if this episode was a downer or not motivating. I hope that you guys have some advice or like interesting things or comments regarding this. I'm really open to any sort of advice, whatever you have to say. Last thing that I wanted to mention, like while we're at the downer moment of the podcast, let's just wrap this up here. Because we're not going to go through content and shit. I have one song to recommend to you and basically nothing else. After I met with MJ today, like I didn't like, I'm a hard person to figure out, honestly. Like I cannot just delegate my life to someone else and they're just doing an amazing job. So I'm not blaming MJ here. We'll see how long this is going to last, because I said I'm definitely open to the idea of changing assistants quickly if they're not completing their job as they should. But like today is Monday, and when I saw the priority list of what MJ has planned for me, I realized that he's not prioritizing things right, because there's so many things, there's so many fires at the same time that he wasn't sure like what to pick. And I immediately get this feeling like, oh, I should just do everything myself. But that would be another cycle, just don't work with anyone, do everything yourself, burn out, hire people. Like I don't want to go through that cycle. So I want to figure out a better way to communicate, a better way to give feedback, a better way to, structure things so my assistant, whoever it is in the future, whether it's going to be MJ or someone else, can figure shit out. But what I realized after this, in the middle of the call, I lost hope because I was already feeling like I'm not going to work out and I was already in a bad mood. So in the middle of the call, just seeing that he's not going to prioritize things right and he's not going to do all the things that I want him to do as I would do them, I just bailed and dozed off in the middle of the meeting, and I was just agreeing with everything. Like I had so many counterpoints and shit that I was just like, oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, let's do that. Sure, let's do that. And I just wanted the meeting to be finished just so I can reach one fucking conclusion. Nobody is going to save you. This is a sad fucking conclusion, but it's 1,000,000,000% right. No one is going to save you. You cannot hire an assistant, 3 assistants, a maid, a cook, a therapist, 3 therapists. You cannot outsource yourself, basically. You can't delegate your entire being. Like this resonates with therapy, because the first therapist I was talking to years ago told me, wow, you actually stayed for a couple of appointments. That's amazing, because most people bail after the first one. Do you know why? Because therapy is not like this. So some people giving you magical fucking things and you're suddenly like, oh fuck, I know the solutions to everything. They basically, most of the time you talk and ramble just like I am right now. The difference is someone on YouTube is going to post a donut emoji instead of giving me actual advice, right? Then they give you ways to think, and they literally give you homework. Not homework in a way you got to write in a notebook, but most of the work is done by you. So if you spend 45 minutes per week talking to a person, that 99% that's left of the week, it's left up to you to improve yourself, to learn with the advice that they gave you, to self-improve. So basically in the next session, you're a little bit better and you're a little bit better. Otherwise, there's no magical solution. You can pay these like 3 people and have a call every fucking day, and you can still be a failure at the end of the day. So when we hung up that call, like this thought was clear in my mind. I want to tattoo it somewhere on my forehead. I'm not going to see it in the forehead. I would have to put a lot of mirrors around me. So not on the forehead, but somewhere. No one is going to save you. you got to do shit by yourself. And only if you self-improve and if you do shit for yourself, like if I was in a good mental state and I've slept enough and I ate well enough and I worked out and whatever, maybe today's meeting would have been better. And it seems like such a tiny thing, but all of this, like the snowball effect, is composed of tiny things. They seem so small, like, oh, cold shower, what can it change? But just to have that willpower to do it instead of the hot shower, which is like comfortable, or the workout instead of just looking at the gym, it's like, oh, this is too tired. Like all of these small things compound, and then you can be this person to basically save yourself, because no one's going to come. You cannot be like, hey, here's $3,000 and you're going to save me from now on. Sometimes I get the illusion when hiring a person, this is going to be the case. But again, I'll repeat this, and maybe this will be the title of the podcast. And I'm going to leave you with this because it's such a powerful message. I don't want to drone on after that. Like, subscribe, go to the Discord, Twitters, whatever the fuck you want to do. And thank you for watching. And remember, no one is going to save you. See ya.